First tonight,
residents in eastern New Providence still picking up the pieces following Friday's wild weather. To find out what they're doing and how they're coping, stay tuned to Our News Tonight for more details.
plus, is the Ministry of Public Service overstepping its authority? Two union leaders believe so. We'll tell you which industrial agreement rights they believe are being violated. And then, one young Bahamian is bringing the ocean closer to home. It's all in an effort to uncover the secrets of the deep. And then in our news at 7:30, the Met Department defending Friday night's weather warnings. They say alerts were sent out to warn residents on New Providence. We've got the details for these stories and more as Our News Live at 7 starts now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday evening. I'm Megan Shepard. Days after wild weather damaged more than a dozen eastern New Providence homes, residents in that community were still picking up the pieces this morning. The Department of Meteorology says a weather condition known as a microburst toppled trees, twisted power lines, and left gaping holes in rooftops. Our Joshua Williams revisited the area earlier this morning, where residents told him the sudden onset of wild weather was something they'd never experienced.
While many of you were on your way to work or school this morning, residents who were in the path of Friday's wild weather spent the morning in recovery mode. When I revisited the area this morning, it was a stark difference from what I witnessed Friday night. The roads are pretty much cleared of debris and utility poles were repaired, but some residents were still dealing with the aftermath, like Betty Dames, who has owned and operated this corner shop for 25 years. The storm's strong winds damaged the roof of her business, and a fallen tree broke her water pump and several windows.
My son went up there and he put, if you could see, he put some felt and nailed some boards so if it rained, it wouldn't wet up the place.
But what was it like to experience being in the middle of a microburst? Residents told me they heard loud rushing wind, the sounds eerily similar to explosions, as lightning violently flashed, illuminating the night sky. Inspector Ed Chum was at work when the storm took aim at his home. He says he's grateful for his community that pulled together to support him.
The police force assisted me, along with Minister Javette Kobe Davis. She being on the grounds as well. She's supposed to make some more assessments today, and probably structure the management team. Supposed to be here today to do some assessments on the ground today.
This retiree says he was in the process of renovating. The wild weather set his family's plans back.
The noise was indescribable. And when I came outside, then I realized what had happened. When I reached in the front room area, I could see the sky. So
residents tell me they're grateful for life, adding that material things can be replaced.
Sharon told me that the daily that there was the roof opened up and the water came gushing in, that all I could have saw is the wind spinning, and that they both came together and they hold each other tight, and they said that they thought it was their last.
Thank God for life. I could take my time and get the property back, but you can't replace life.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks so much, Joshua. Well, the Bahamas Department of Corrections Communication Services were interrupted by Friday night's wild weather in eastern New Providence. That's according to Prison Commissioner Don Clare. The wild weather plunging nearly 1,000 residents into darkness, damaging homes and snapping utility poles. But not only were residents impacted, so was the Bahamas Department of Corrections.
We are now back up in terms of communication with our radios. And our communication, our data system has been down, and we're trying to get it back up now. The only issues we have with the initial storm, we lost the internet and we lost communication with the radio, and the radio is back up.
Well, our newsroom flooded with calls today from Grand Bahama. Residents claiming a mass disconnection by the Grand Bahama Power Company. Some claim if your balance topped $100 plus the new bill, your lights were cut. When our news team arrived, we found a long line of frustrated customers outside GBPC's headquarters on East Atlantic Drive. In response, the company admitted its process fell short, saying proper notice was not given ahead of the disconnections. GBPC officials say they have since paused all disconnections for the rest of this week, and payment plans are available for customers. We spoke with residents on the ground, and we'll have the full story in tomorrow's newscast. A judge has made it easier for a murder suspect's family to sign his bail. Justice Dale Fitzpatrick has ordered that as many as 4 persons can post a Spencer Lewis's bail while using job letters. Lewis's bail was set at $25,000 bail with 2 sureties in August, but his family could not sign the bail because they didn't have any property to lodge as security. Prosecutors allege that Lewis murdered Max Darville and intended to murder DeAndre Demerit on September 19, 2022. The men were at a grill out through Lucky Heart Corner when the occupants of a Toyota Passo opened fire, hitting both men. Frustration is boiling over among customs and immigration officers. Bahamas Customs, Immigration and Allied Workers Union President Duran Brooks says members feel blindsided by a recent circular from the Ministry of Public Service, a move he argues violates their signed industrial agreement. The circular, dated June 2025, seeks to amend several long-standing general orders, including provisions for vacation and casual leave. It purports to retroactively adjust vacation entitlements for public officers based on salary increases in July 2022, 2023, and 2024. It also seeks to alter rules governing overtime, casual leave eligibility, and the signing of registers. Departments were further instructed to stop recovering vacation leave under an earlier 2014 circular, with future eligibility now tied to the latest directive. At a press conference held today at the Bahamas Trade Union Congress headquarters, Brooks accused the ministry of overstepping its authority.
That the union remains steadfast in its mission to protect workers' rights and to ensure that any modification to terms and conditions of employment are handled transparently, fairly, and in accordance with the law. Regrettably, this is not the first instance of such behavior by the employer. Circular number 5, issued on the 18th of March 2024, also released without consultation. That circular sought to revoke 1 week of vacation per leave per year from staff who, in accordance with general orders and our industrial agreement, had reached a salary scale that entitled them to 5 weeks vacation. This matter is before the courts.
The remarks come as the union continues a legal battle over an earlier circular that sought to reduce vacation leave entitlements. Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson adding his voice to the fight, accusing government of eroding hard-fought rights won decades ago.
This is a proposal to change the law of the Bahamas for public servants. Not only public servants, for all of us. 6 days a week for hotel workers. They can't get no double time. That change. They want to introduce it to us, and they're going to be all over ZNS talking about it and on the newspaper to fool me and you. But we're here. Trust me. We will not allow that to happen.
Well, on a mission to uncover the secrets of the deep, one young Bahamian is bringing the ocean closer to home. Danley Delaney founded Microburst, a non-profit dedicated to deep-sea research, aiming to empower local scientists and strengthen Caribbean oceans. Growing up in the Bahamas, Danley developed a love for the sea, later earning degrees in marine science and environmental communication from Stanford. With experience leading National Geographic's deep-sea technology programs, she now works to fill Caribbean data gaps and make ocean exploration accessible to our home region.
We are really focused on a few key things. The first is innovative research. We are using cutting-edge technologies to collect data up to 3,000 meters depth in the ocean. That's almost 10,000 feet. We are focused on capacity development. So that means ensuring that we collaborate with not only local scientists here in the Bahamas, but also across the region to ensure that we can build the capacity for locally led ocean exploration.
Currently, deep sea research projects in the Caribbean are rare, largely due to high costs and logistical challenges. But Memoris is changing that.
So, for traditional methods of ocean exploration, typically one would have needed a huge research vessel, large equipment such as an ROV that would weigh hundreds of pounds, or a submersible. You would need a crane on different vessels to pick up that piece of equipment and lower it into the water, which took multiple people to operate. But with Memoris, we are deploying accessible ocean technologies. These are tools that are lighter weight, they are more compact, and they can be deployed by just one or two people from a small vessel.
Well, we've still got more to come this evening, but first, meteorologist Greg Thompson joins us from the Weather Center with your first look at temperatures. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Megan, and a happy Monday evening, everybody. After an eventful Friday, we had a quiet weekend, some showers in the forecast, and we're starting off this week with some moisture still across the northwest Bahamas. Show that in our satellite picture. But it is warm on the outside right now. Temperatures at 85 degrees under partly cloudy skies. The winds out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 95. Temperatures right now around the family of islands. It's 84 in Freeport, as well as in Marsh Harbour, Abaco, Great Harbour Key, Nicholstown, Andros, and in Alistown, Bimini. Governor's Harbour, 85. Here in the capital, 85 as well. We have some thunderstorms just offshore. Central Bahamas, 85. Kemps Bay, Arthurstown, Cat Island, Coburn, Townsend. Salvador, 86 in Black Point, Exuma, Deadman's Key, and Port Nelson, Rum Key, Georgetown, 87. And into the southeast Bahamas, 86. Duncantown, Ragged Island, we pick up 85s. Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, Delectable Bay, Acklands, Abraham's Bay, Mayaguana. And a pair of 86s again in Matthewtown, Inagua, and our good neighbors to the southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands. Satellite radar composite, that boundary that was across South Florida and northwest Bahamas, still there. We have an upper level disturbance, or an upper level trough actually, right across the southeastern portions of the United States. That's pumping a lot of tropical moisture across the area. So we're looking for some cloudy conditions to continue across the northwest Bahamas, as well as some showers and some thunderstorms. Once again, those showers could be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, Devin Charlton was back in the finals of the World Champs. JJ was back in the WNBA playoffs, while Kai Jones headed to Turkey.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
More than 20 years in the making and still growing. Everywhere you turn, our news is there. From Charybdis to Karakum and Chogam, the commendation of a queen, the coronation of a king, the controversies, our culture, in times of conscience and collective grief, connecting the stories of a country coming into its own, from then to now and still to come. Our news is everywhere, always there when it counts.
NFL season is back, and Cable Bahamas is bringing the action straight to you.
Okay, so I take it from here. This season, Cable Bahamas is the Bahamas' #1 NFL provider. More games than ever before. With any live fiber infinite bundle, Trio or Trio Plus, you unlock Thursday Night Football, Sunday Ticket in 4K, and every highlight that matters. Just opt in the Sports X for $5 a month.
And don't miss a touchdown. Sign up now.
Watch Thursday Night Football exclusively with Rev and the Live Fiber on channel 747 and 748.
Every week, one show drives the national conversation. On the Record. We challenge the issues, ask the tough questions, and dig deeper. We bring in the experts, the decision makers, and the voice.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. It's the most stacked field of any event at the World Champs, and Devin Charlton was right back in the mix among the best in the world at the 100-meter hurdles. Charlton finished 6th in the final at the 2025 World Athletics Champs in Tokyo, Japan, with a season's best time of 12.49 seconds. It was a performance that continued her consistent progression not only throughout the season, but also in Tokyo. She came in with a previous season's best of 12.52 seconds, set just weeks earlier in Zurich, Switzerland, lowered that to 12.51 seconds in the semifinals, and then again in the finals. It was the third World Champs 100-meter hurdles final in Charlton's storied career. The New York Liberty are a much different team when they're healthy, that much we know. Jonquil Jones and the squad looked that way for most of last night, but now they're crossing their fingers once again, hoping to avoid that injury bug. Jones finished with 7 points, a game-high 12 rebounds, and 3 block shots in New York's 76-69 overtime win over the Phoenix Mercury in Game 1 of the WNBA playoffs first round. Jones's dominance on both ends of the floor helped the Liberty to win the rebound battle 48-31. Kai Jones is preparing to hit the court soon, not in the NBA, but he's taking his talents to the Turkish Super League. Jones signed with Anadolu for the upcoming season in Turkey. Last season, the club finished near the top of the Turkish Super League standings and reached the domestic playoff finals, but in the EuroLeague, they missed the Final Four after falling in the quarterfinals. His move to Turkey comes after several seasons of growing pains and sporadic spots in the NBA. That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world, as the United States and Britain plan to announce more than $10 billion in economic deals this week. Plus, the young activists who toppled Nepal's government and are now picking new leaders. We'll tell you how social media played a key role. And then for CARICOM member states on track to implement full free movement among themselves beginning October 1st. We have the details when our news returns.
Every week, one show drives the national conversation. On the Record, we challenge the issues, ask the tough questions, and dig deeper. We bring in the experts, the decision makers, and the voices that matter. Our discussions shape policy, influence change, and inform the public like no other. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episodes on our YouTube channel. The conversations that shape the Bahamas start here, on the Record.
What do you get when you're searching for the whole truth?
Less than 24 hours after the body of 12-year-old was discovered on a track road on Faith Avenue, police say they...
You get the most comprehensive half hour of news.
Breach of the party's constitution. Behind me is what remains of the Victoria Court apartment complex.
Our News at 7 brings you that truth in all of the day's top stories, sports, and our view of the world. Join me, Kendino Knowles, weeknights for Our News at 7. Stay with the team you already trust.
From 2017, one show has set the standard for current affairs in the Bahamas, and that's On the Record, one of the longest running current affairs shows on RTV. We've been the place where newsmakers come to talk. We've sat down with leaders in government, cultural icons, industry leaders, and international experts. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, our conversation sets the tone for the nation. We've tackled the biggest issues on the planet, held world leaders accountable, and given voice to the people. From politics to culture, business to the environment, no topic is off limits. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episodes on our YouTube channel. 9 seasons strong, and we're just getting started. This is On the Record.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. The United States and Britain plan to announce more than $10 billion in economic deals this week as part of U.S. President Donald Trump's state visit. The two governments are expected to seal a trade agreement with 3 pillars: a new science and technology partnership to strengthen the tech sectors of both countries, cooperation in civil nuclear power, and advances in defense technology cooperation. Trump and First Lady Melania Trump will arrive late on Tuesday for talks with King Charles and Queen Camilla on Wednesday at Windsor Castle and a state dinner that evening. Trump returns to Washington on Thursday night. A former DJ and his obscure Nepalese nonprofit used a social media app to drive massive protests and become the unlikely power brokers in installing the Nepal's new interim leadership. Our Reuters affiliate tells us more.
A sense of calm on the streets of Kathmandu on Sunday after days of deadly protests that toppled Nepal's government and saw the appointment of its first female prime minister. The latest figures from the health ministry show at least 72 people dead and 2,113 injured in what was Nepal's worst unrest in decades. Largely organised through social media, the demonstrations were fuelled by anger over corruption and inequality. Parliament was stormed and luxury hotels and the residences of political leaders targeted. The Gen Z movement had gained traction in Nepal in recent months. That was driven by posts showing Nepo babies, the children of Nepalese politicians, enjoying expensive vacations and designer lifestyles. But it was a government decision to ban social media that then spectacularly backfired, triggering an unprecedented outpouring of anger among the youth. 19-year-old Pradeep Mangal describes how activists then used VPNs, virtual private networks, to bypass the social media ban. And central to the process was a former DJ and his previously obscure non-profit. Sudan Gurung, founder of Hami Nepal or We Are Nepal, used Instagram and the Discord app, popular among gamers, to issue calls to action that the group says reached tens of thousands.
The United States and China reached a framework agreement to switch popular video app TikTok to U.S.-controlled ownership. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said a Wednesday deadline that could have switched off the popular social media app in the U.S. encouraged Chinese negotiators to reach a potential deal. He said that deadline could be extended by 90 days to allow the deal to be finalized.
We have a framework for a TikTok deal. The two leaders, President Trump and Party Chair Xi, will speak on Friday to complete the deal, but we do have a framework for a deal with TikTok. Getting to this framework was made possible by President Trump and the high regard that President Trump has for Party Chair Xi. So when the leaders have mutual respect, then the delegations have mutual respect.
Four CARICOM member states, Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, are on track to implement a full free movement among themselves beginning October 1st. Their nationals will now have the right to enter, leave, and re-enter, move freely, reside, work, and remain indefinitely in the receiving member state without the need for a work or residency permit. Their nationals will also be able to access emergency and primary health care and public, primary, and secondary education within the means of the receiving member state. This is in keeping with the CARICOM head's decision taken at the 49th regular meeting of CARICOM this year. The Haitian government has assured citizens that it is mobilizing all available resources to regain full control of territories occupied by criminal gangs, while life in the capital is gradually returning to normal. On Thursday, the Office of the Prime Minister released a video on social media showing progress in reclaiming areas seized by gangs, who have challenged the provisional government since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse on July 7, 2021. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was September 15. Plus, from former beauty queen to executive producer, how one Bahamian is bridging the gap between designers, models, and Bahamian culture. And then in our news at 7:30, taxi and delivery drivers remain locked in a bitter dispute over pickup spots at LPIA. We've got the details when our news returns.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
My name is Troy Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had
On this day in Bahamian history in 2014, the gaming bill passed in the House of Assembly. The bill would lead to the regulation of web shops in the Bahamas, which had for years operated illegally. And in 2016, the Bahamar Claims Committee announced payout dates for former employees and creditors and said checks would be ready in less than 2 weeks. For the full details that made up the day that was September 15th, be sure to head on over to ournews.bs. A display of Bahamian excellence on the global stage coming to a screen near you this weekend. A former beauty queen is highlighting 8 fashion designers and upcoming models and creatives. Our digital reporter, Daniela Dorset, tells us it's a story that connects fashion and culture.
This beauty queen pushed the envelope by creating the first of its kind docufilm here in the Bahamas, which bridges the gap between designers, models, and Bahamian culture.
I'm coaching and mentoring other young models within the industry. And as a matter of fact, a diverse set of models within the industry to be able to share with them different techniques, my techniques specifically, that they can apply to create their signature walk. I believe that it's an amazing opportunity to highlight the orange economy and also bring a voice to what I think is an untapped area, which is the fashion tourism industry.
O'Brien says that inspiration for the entire film came from the Lord, her personal savior, and it would not have been possible without divine strategy and a strong support system.
And those people started with Corel Pinder. She's known widely in the industry, the creative industry, as, a playwright, an author, a producer. She's someone that if you have your greatest idea, that's the person that comes to mind. And she didn't tell me no, so the Lord was kind in that. And then I reached out to TNT Media, and they have been phenomenal, along with some other production personnel like T. Bastian Photography, Ride Productions, A-List Productions, all Bahamians that are doing incredible work.
Producer Corel Pinder shared her experience bringing Chantel O'Brien's vision to life for the docufilm. She says her role went beyond filming, from coordinating interviews to sifting through hours of footage, all to create a seamless story. Pinder adding it was a labor of love, and she's excited for the private screening on September 20th, where all participating members will see it for the first time.
This is Chantel's baby. We've had the opportunity to nurture it for over 1.5 years. So being able to have an audience here who can be able to weigh in to start the conversation and to make the conversation even louder when it's time to take it to the public, we think is the best way to start this journey.
It's more than a film. It's a celebration of culture, creativity, and community. And for Chantel O'Brien and her team, this is just the beginning. Reporting for Our News, I'm Daniela Dorset.
Thanks so much, Daniela. Well, to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, be sure to visit ournews.bs. That does it for Our News at 7. Joining us now is our Atalia Hall with the latest headlines. Atalia, happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Megan. Well, coming up, the Shaw market to undergo much-needed maintenance and structural improvements. The Deputy Prime Minister touring the market today ahead of its closure. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight on Our News at 7:30, after Friday night's fair's microburst, some say it felt like a tornado and are asking where the warning was tonight. The Met Department defends its handling of the storm. Plus, Bahamas Power and Light teams race to restore power after the microburst, repairing down lines, poles, and transformers. Also, intense winds, heavy rain, and chaos. Meteorologists say it wasn't a tornado, but a microburst. Our Joshua Williams explains what it is and why it struck so suddenly. Coming up, And later, a 60-year-old Bahamian man has been sentenced to 4 years in prison after being caught in a DEA sting in Florida. The story when our news at 7:30 returns.
Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button if you'd like to see more content like this. Follow all of the Our News social media pages so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Every season creates an opportunity for you to enjoy the comfort and security of your most valuable assets. Unfortunately, termites are common and very unwanted guests that never stop eating. With Strucum, you can enjoy the peace of mind as we protect your investment with our 3-year fumigation warranty. Strucum, #1 in pest control services.
Whether you're battling a chronic condition or offsetting a new injury, Doctors Hospital's comprehensive rehab services offer the help you need now.
Go to doctors.
3 advanced facilities at Collins Avenue, Carmichael Road, in Cable Beach means your personalized plan for care is just a visit away. From physiotherapy to occupational therapy and speech and language pathology, our team approach is all about rebuilding together. For a full list of services, visit doctorshosp.com/rehabilitation. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
In the Bahamas, island time is real. The history of Morris Lumber Company, established in 1945, is etched into the fabric of this proud island nation. It's a story that deserves to be celebrated in full color, and that's where we come in.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Atalia Hall. The Bahamas Met Department on the defense tonight following backlash from Friday night's microburst. While those who witnessed it say it looked and felt more like a tornado, the bigger question on the minds of residents is where was the severe weather warning? Tonight, Director Jeffrey Simmons tells our Berthany McDermott the Met Department did its part.
Well, to say that the Department of Meteorology did not give any warning is really not a good statement to make, and it's because it's not the truth.
In the aftermath of Friday night's microburst, many who felt its wrath were left asking, where was the warning? But the Met Department says it did its part to warn residents the entire island was under alert for severe weather warning. Met Department Director Jeffrey Simmons telling us for the past 2 weeks they've been issuing weather warnings for specific islands if necessary.
Now, when we put out these severe weather, we can't say exactly. Let's say we include New Providence in one of our severe weather warnings. We cannot say, the eastern or the western portion of the Providence would be more impacted than any other part of the islands. That's the reason why. And, we really don't have the capability to exactly do that. So that's why we put the whole island on alert.
Simmons says the alerts are posted to the department's website, social media, and issued to the local news stations. While we did not receive any alerts Friday, the Met Department posted warnings on its Facebook page. Simmons says it warned of tornadic activity.
We don't say tornadoes. We say tornadic. It's a tornadic activity. With a tornado, you would have wind spiraling and spinning. Okay? And with this, which is a downburst, you can have these strong winds that comes from the cloud, the same way the tornadoes do. But it's just a vertical, strong gust of wind. And, these winds can go up to like 100 miles per hour.
He adds that the pattern of the damage is not familiar with a tornado.
This roof that's partially torn off. And then right next to it, I'm looking at another roof in perfect condition. Tornadoes don't behave that way. And I promise you all those roofs would have been gone.
Reporting for our news, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks so much for that, Berthany. Well, Bahamas Power and Light officials were hard at work over the weekend, looking to restore power to the areas impacted by Friday night's microburst. BPL Chief Operating Officer Anthony Christie updated Our News, explaining that teams were on the ground 45 minutes after the incident happened, adding that in less than 24 hours, the majority of customers were brought back online. Christie also telling us the weather caused damage to multiple lines, utility poles, and transformers. However, he shared that some isolated areas posed a challenge.
Following that, we'd have had some isolated areas that presented some challenges, inclusive of Imperial Park, due to the design and structure of the poles. Accessibility was a challenge. We'd have had some issues in San Souci. One issue, I think, let me see right here, High Vista, Fox Hill Road still remains a challenge, and then on Eastern Road and Chancery Lane. So those areas produced some challenges, so customers would have experienced some delays in getting those resolved.
Well, Met officials confirming it wasn't a tornado that touched down over the weekend. As I mentioned earlier, they said it was caused by a microburst. So what is this not so common weather phenomenon? Our Joshua Williams takes a look in this report.
It wasn't your typical wild weather over the weekend. Heavy rainfall, dangerous thunder and lightning, and howling winds leaving residents in the dark. Many of their homes and cars were damaged. The residents I spoke to on the ground assumed it was a tornado. But what really happened? In a Facebook post on Saturday, the Bahamas Department of Meteorology said it was not a tornado but a microburst. So, what's the difference? A microburst is a powerful rush of air that rapidly descends from a thunderstorm, spreads outwards, and hits the ground. The Meteorology Department's statements also said their radars didn't detect a tight rotation, but it did pick up heavy rainfall cores, with damage reports showing straight-line impacts rather than swirling patterns. But what did drone footage show? A path of destruction that begins at Andres Crescent, moving north along Fox Hill Road, ending on Prince Charles Drive. And then there's this video obtained by Our News, showing doorbell camera footage during the wild weather. Here you can see a gust of wind passing in front of a home, debris and even electrical sparks, appearing to swirl before the wind slowed. Now that we know the difference between a tornado and a microburst, I asked residents what they thought they experienced that wild night.
Boy, it came spinning. And the guy who lived on the road said he saw 7 tornadoes come out of the water. He lived right by the sea. He said he saw 7 tornadoes coming out of the water.
Well, I'm not a meteorologist. I can't answer that at this time. But, you know, basically with some strong winds and stuff that I was told.
I have no clue what it was, but whatever it was a terrible experience.
Now, meteorologists say while it may have felt like a tornado, microbursts can generate winds up to 100 miles per hour, and that can give the false illusion of a tornado. Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks, Josh. Well, a 60-year-old Bahamian man caught in a DEA sting in Florida has been sentenced to 48 months in prison. Roscoe Strawn learned his fate when he appeared before Magistrate Judge Ellen D'Angelo on Monday following a guilty plea in June. Strawn, otherwise known as Stinky and Unks, traveled to Florida from Nassau, on February 26 to sell cocaine. He sold an undercover agent a kilo of cocaine for $17,000 the following day. Strawn was arrested when he returned to sell an additional 15 kilos to the agent. Well, fairly okay weather conditions to start off the work week. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look. Greg, what can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks, Natalia. Welcome back, everybody, for a second look at conditions around the islands and outside our studios. 85 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Your winds out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 95. Satellite radar composite, frontal boundary still draped across what's left of it, still draped across our area, South Florida and the Northwest Bahamas. We also have an upper level trough that's dipping across the southeastern United States. That's a dip in the jet stream. That's pulling a lot of moisture out of the Western Caribbean across the area. That boundary, as well as that upper level disturbance, will continue to keep some showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for the Northwest Bahamas, while high pressure dominates to remain the balance for the next day or two. But we could see some more showers spreading across the entire chain for the balance of the week. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us, look at your extended forecast, and the tropics still to come.
Still to come in our news, taxi and livery drivers remain locked in a battle over pickup zones at LPIA. Plus, the downtown straw market is set to close temporarily for repairs today. The tourism minister toured the site. The story when our news returns.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
More than 20 years in the making and still growing. Everywhere you turn, our news is there. From Charybdis to Karakum and Chogam, the commendation of a queen, the coronation of a king, the controversies, our culture, in times of conscience and collective grief, connecting the stories of a country coming into its own, from then to now and still to come. Our news is everywhere, always there when it counts.
NFL season is back, and Cable Bahamas is bringing the action straight to you.
Okay, Zai, let I take it from here. This season, Cable Bahamas is the Bahamas' #1 NFL provider. More games than ever before. With any live fiber infinite bundle, Trio or Trio Plus, you unlock Thursday Night Football, Sunday Ticket in 4K, and every highlight that matters. Just opt in the Sports X for $5 a month.
And don't miss a touchdown. Sign up now.
Watch Thursday Night Football exclusively with the Rev and the Live Fiber on channel 747 and 748.
Every week, one show drives the national conversation. On the Record. We challenge the issues, ask the tough questions, and dig deeper. We bring in the experts, the decision makers, and the voices that matter. Our discussions shape policy, influence change, and inform the public like no other. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and again on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Catch us streaming live on Facebook or catch up with your favorite episodes on our YouTube channel. The conversations that shape the Bahamas start here, on the Record.
What do you get when you're searching for the whole truth?
Less than 24 hours after the body of 12-year-old was discovered on a track road on Faith Avenue, police say they...
You get the most comprehensive half hour of news.
Breach of the party's constitution.
Behind me is what remains of the Victoria Court apartment complex.
Our News at 7 brings you that truth in all of the day's top stories, sports, and our view of the world. Join me, Kendino Knowles, weeknights for Our News at 7. Stay with the team you already trust.
From 2017, one show has set the standard for current affairs in the Bahamas, and that's On the Record, one of the longest running current affairs shows on RTV. We've been the place where newsmakers come to talk. We've sat down with leaders in government, cultural icons, industry leaders, and international experts. From breaking news to in-depth analysis, our conversation sets the tone for the nation. We've tackled the biggest issues on the planet, held world leaders accountable, and given voice to the people. From politics to culture, business to
Frustration continuing to mount at the Lyndon Pending International Airport as taxi and livery drivers remain locked in a bitter dispute over pickup spots. Bahamas Taxi Cab Union President Tyrone Butler is warning that if the matter is not addressed soon, it could have serious consequences for the country's tourism product. On Monday, Butler told reporters the taxi drivers are growing increasingly frustrated, accusing livery drivers of illegally operating in taxi designated zones and stealing jobs from its members.
We continue to be hampered by the behavior of delivery drivers at the airport. We met last week with the representative of NAD, Ms. Joaquin, and the minister to do a walkthrough to try and see if we can get some sort of order for taxi parking at the airport and get some update structure for delivery drivers, but that seemed to not yield any positive results. And so it's very frustrating, but I think our frustration is basically coming to an end. And I think in short order, the union is going to have to take the next step in this process.
This warning follows a strike earlier this year when taxi drivers walked off the job in April to protest changes to the airport's taxi holding area. They accused officials of giving livery drivers the upper hand, leaving taxi operators on the sidelines. Butler argues the government's failure to enforce the rules is stripping taxi drivers of their livelihoods. He's now calling out Transport Minister Jobat Kofi Davis and Tourism Minister Chester Cooper, accusing both of them for turning a blind eye to the problem.
It claims that tourism is the #1 economy, but they're not treating it as such. Lost in all of this, though, I must say, is that while we continue to talk about the Minister of Transport and our communications with her and trying to bring some structure to us in delivery, I'm really disappointed that the Minister of Tourism seems to be getting a free ride in all of this, because it's his ministry that is ultimately being disrespectful by the behavior of those livery drivers.
Now, Transport Minister Jobette Colby Davis responded to the concerns this afternoon, saying livery cars will be moved to lanes opposite their current location to ease congestion, while taxis get a new stand and clear signage to help tourists. Now, full details will come in tomorrow's newscast, and be sure to follow our social media pages for the latest updates. Well, days ahead of its temporary closure, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation Chester Cooper toured the downtown straw market Monday morning. The straw market will be closed for 1 week to carry out much needed maintenance and structural improvements. Cooper telling us the tour allowed him to get personal with the vendors who shared some of their concerns.
The board is working on doing some improvements as we speak. So, you know, they've talked about it being warm on the inside, the need for some, you know, cleaning and painting and, you know, generally sprucing up the market. And I was happy to hear that these matters are generally in hand, and over the course of the next few weeks, they will be attended to. And there's some concern as to how that will be done, when that will be done, whether it will be done smoothly along with their operations and them not losing any income whilst it's being done.
Coming up in sports, Devon Charlton reaches the 100-meter hurdles final at the World Champs for the third time in her career. JJ and the Liberty take Game 1 of the WNBA playoffs, but at what cost? And finally, Kai Jones won't start the upcoming season in the NBA, but we'll tell you where he'll be next.
NFL season is back, and Cable Bahamas is bringing the action straight to you.
Okay, Zai, let I take it from here. This season, Cable Bahamas is the Bahamas' #1 NFL provider. More games than ever before. With any live fiber infinite bundle, Trio or Trio Plus, you unlock Thursday Night Football, Sunday Ticket in 4K, and every highlight that matters. Just opt in the Sports X for $5 a month.
And don't miss a touchdown. Sign up now.
Watch Thursday Night Football exclusively with Rev and the Live Fiber on channel 747 and 748.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
My name is Troy Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. It's the most stacked field of any event at the World Champs, and Devin Charlton was right back in the mix among the best in the world at the 100-meter hurdles. Charlton finished 6th in the final at the 2025 World Athletics Champs in Tokyo, Japan, with a season's best time of 12.49 seconds. It was a performance that continued her consistent progression not only throughout the season, but also in Tokyo. She came in with a previous season's best of 12.52 seconds, set just weeks earlier in Zurich, Switzerland, lowered that to 12.51 seconds in the semifinals, and then again in the finals. It was the third World Champs 100-meter hurdles final in Charlton's storied career. In 2015, she didn't advance out of the heats. 2017, she reached the semifinals and finished 13th overall. 2021, she broke through to her first final and placed 7th. And in 2023, in Budapest, she narrowly missed the podium, finishing 4th while setting a new Bahamian national record in 12.44 seconds. Team Bahamas continues competition tomorrow with Brentasia Johnson in the semifinals of the women's 400 meters. Still yet to compete, Ian Kerr in the 200 meters, Rima Otabor and Keyshawn Strawn in the javelin, and Kendrick Thompson in the decathlon. The New York Liberty are a much different team when they're healthy, that much we know. Jonquil Jones and the squad looked that way for most of last night, but now they're crossing their fingers once again, hoping to avoid that injury bug. Jones finished with 7 points, a game-high 12 rebounds, and 3 block shots in New York's 76-69 overtime win over the Phoenix Mercury in Game 1 of the WNBA playoffs first round. Jones's dominance on both ends of the floor helped the Liberty to win the rebound battle 48-31. That was the good news, but what happened in overtime have to have Liberty fans thinking, not again. All-star forward Breanna Stewart sustained an apparent left knee injury with just over 3 minutes remaining in overtime when she converted an and-one layup but landed awkwardly after contact. The Liberty are awaiting further testing before they officially designate her injury status. Game 2 is set for Wednesday night back at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
I think we just were all on the same page, and I think you just alluded to it, but the connection was probably the most important thing of rotating, helping each other, understanding what the schemes are for the game, and just going out there and executing. But I think we did a really good job, and now we got to go to New York and take it up to another level.
Kai Jones is preparing to hit the court soon, not in the NBA, but he's taking his talents to the Turkish Super League. Jones signed with Anadolu for the upcoming season in Turkey. Last season, the club finished near the top of the Turkish Super League standings and reached the domestic playoff finals, but in the EuroLeague, they missed the Final Four after falling in the quarterfinals. His move to Turkey comes after several seasons of growing pains and sporadic spots in the NBA. Important to note, though, the contract does include an NBA out clause that can be triggered in January. Speaking of the NBA, Jones has played in 107 games over the course of his career, combining stints with the Charlotte Hornets, LA Clippers, and the Dallas Mavs. He averaged around 3.5 points and 2.4 boards in 10 minutes per game for his career. His most successful stint, that 12-game run with the Mavs last season, where he averaged 11.4 points and 6.6 rebounds per game. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. And look, as a rehabilitated Dolphins fans, I get it and I understand, but I want you guys to understand that you don't have to do this. Let them go like they let you go a long time ago. Back to the studio.
Still to come in our news, the Zion United Baptist Convention's 53rd District Conference is underway in the Pinders Point community this week. The story when our news continues. Stay with us.
My name is Trey Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trey Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
Candino Notes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the R News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button if you'd like to see more content like this. Follow all of the Our News social media pages so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful
Every season creates an opportunity for you to enjoy the comfort and security of your most valuable assets. Unfortunately, termites are common and very unwanted guests that never stop eating. With Strucum, you can enjoy the peace of mind as we protect your investment with our
This is our news. Welcome back. Still monitoring the tropics. We still have our eyes on the far eastern Atlantic for some possible tropical development over the next couple of days. The National Hurricane Center giving one area that we will watch right now. Very high chance for some formation, possibly become our next named tropical storm, and if it does, Gabrielle would be its name. There also another strong tropical wave expected to come off of Africa, and between the 18th to the 21st of September is where we could see some possible tropical development out there as well. That one area that we're watching in the tropics, not really organized at this time, very disorganized system, but it's trying to get its act together. It still has a very high chance moving into an area that's favorable for some further development. Strong tropical wave coming off of Africa as I speak. That one will be monitored as it progresses across the tropical Atlantic. Closer to us, what's left of a boundary still lurking across our area, keeping us a little unsettled across the northwest Bahamas. Some showers and thunderstorms possible with that. Some of those showers will be locally heavy. Thunderstorms will be strong to severe at times as an upper level disturbance and that frontal boundary, what's left of it, continue to keep us with some showers in the forecast. Taking a look at the future forecast, that moisture associated with that boundary still across the northwest Bahamas, some pockets of showers and isolated thunderstorms possible, and that will continue through Tuesday and Wednesday, but that moisture will lift back towards the north, so we're looking for some increasing chances for some showers for the balance of the week. Boating forecast, northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow, your winds will be light and variable tonight, becoming northeast to east at 10 knots tomorrow, seas running 1 to 3 feet, while in the central and southeastern islands, easterly flow at 10 to 15 knots expected, seas running 2 to 4 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, we'll keep the showers throughout the remainder of the week as that boundary meanders across our area, South Florida and the northwest Bahamas, and we do have an upper level disturbance that's out there in the Atlantic that will actually lend some support to some showers across most of the island, remainder of the island chain, but temperatures will stay rather in the upper 80s, warm, nighttime temperatures in the upper 70s. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
Thanks so much, Greg. Well, the Zion United Baptist Convention is gathering members from across the country this week as it hosts its 53rd District Convention in Grand Bahama. The convention is being held at the Upper Zion Baptist Church in Pinders Point. Services begin each day starting tonight at 7:30 through Wednesday. On Tuesday night, 16 individuals who served the convention over the years will be honored. The theme this year is Trusting God with the Outcome, a theme also used at their recent national convention. Zion United Baptist Convention President Reverend Dr. Elvis Barrow says it's a time to uplift, inspire, and encourage members, especially as Grand Bahama continues to face some challenges despite signs of progress.
Because I believe God has a word for us in Grand Bahama and throughout our Bahama land. And our sub-theme says, the God of Zion never fails. And as we look around us, there are many of our folks who are going through great struggles, going through grief and sorrow and pain and losses.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.